Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities like we normally do. I'm going to go through yields, precious metals, uh, dollar yields, precious metals, commodities, ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinion as we go. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into these sectors, deeper into the individual companies, and look for um, great risk reward opportunities for investment. So let's dive in here. Let's see what's going on today. We've got a weaker dollar, and I see weaker yields as well. So a little bit pullback on the dollar and yields. And again, those two are highly correlated. It's the monetary tightness of the dollar versus the currencies that it's being compared against is what the DXY index is. So these could be free falling altogether, basically jumped off of an airplane, free falling, and they are measuring the relative strength and weakness against each other, even though they all could be free falling from the airplane. But right now, looking at it from a weekly view, everything still looks good to go higher for the dollar and for yields. But today, we saw weakness. We saw a little bit weakness in the dollar, down 0.17%, not a huge day. We saw weakness in the 2-year yield. Is this going to pull back further? It's definitely possible to do a retest from here. But overall, the way that I view it, we've got the stair step pattern where this is stair stepping higher, and that will probably break to the upside. That would be where I would put the probability. And then the 10-year yield, yep, we have a stronger selling pressure day to day. We do have support right underneath us, and we'll see tomorrow if we get support. And I still think that the trend is higher at this moment until we start breaking through some of these support levels. And then the 30-year also sold off today, and we're at resistance on that one. What I did is I took this guy and projected it upward, and we're right at resistance. So yes, we could get a pullback, and we'll have to see what that looks like. If we do get a pullback, that's going to be generally good for precious metals and potentially the dollar pulling back too. TYX TNX ratio heading a little bit higher today, but again, guys, we've just been grinding, bumping and grinding sideways at an inverted level. Gold loves it. Last time we did this, it did it during 2005 to 2007. I do not think that this here is the same as this here. I do not think that because the conditions are different. This was in a declining interest rate environment over here. This one's in an increasing interest rate environment. We also had a boatload of stimulus money that was created back in 2020. I think the stimulus money brought us to these levels down here. And yes, a potential slowdown could exist, but most of these slowdowns historically were rooted in inherent weakness in the economy and or in the real estate world, real estate cycle. We don't have weakness in the real estate cycle at this time. It's actually still strong, and usually it takes some time if it is coming from the real estate cycle to work its way through into a recession and unemployment. We just don't see that yet. But it doesn't mean we couldn't get a slowdown in the market and this unwind from something other than the real estate market. That is definitely possible, much like the year 2000 back here, this move higher there. And the real estate market did slow down during that time frame. Bond prices up a little bit today, a little bit of relief, but guys, this is still looking like the momentum is to the downside. So I'm not going to reverse my opinion for this momentum until I see reversal candlesticks and continued strength to the upside. We are also underneath resistance. This is the big long resistance line, this horizontal line going across. That is going to act as resistance. So even if we bounce, I'm going to remain probably bearish and look for a turnover and a rollover of bond prices. And then the 2 and 10, we did move up a little bit of yield curve inversion. But for the most part, guys, we've been inverted. We've stayed inverted. and we haven't come off that inversion yet. Doesn't mean I know the time that it does. I'm just saying we haven't uninverted yet. Gold down a little bit today, down about 20 bucks, $19.50 an ounce. Momentum still up, and we have this day here where we had a nice strong reversal. Is that the beginning of a potential, pullback or consolidation? It could be. Again, I don't know the future, but what I can say big long term, guys, is we've broken to the upside. And even if we get a consolidation flag pattern or pennant or whatever it is, I will remain bullish because we just broke out of this big pattern. And this is the cup and handle pattern that we've broken. And the projected move, if I were to project upward on this, is basically this. About $3,000 would be the projected move, and we just haven't hit that projection yet. So that's what I see there. Silver also looking quite beastly. I mean, not today, but today we were down a little bit. We're just moving sideways. But bigger picture view, guys, this thing is an animal. We've broken out of this pattern here. I would be looking for higher prices in the future. Platinum down about 2.2% today. We're at resistance. Kind of surprised that this didn't break out here. I'll be honest. But we are squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And maybe we're going to go all the way to the tip here. Perfectly fine by me. I'll buy a boatload more physical platinum in that corner there if it's going to give me the opportunity to do that. Sure, I'll take it. Palladium up a little bit. This is the oddball out in relationship that usually moves at a little bit different time than gold and silver and even platinum. We've had a monster move from 2009, which was the recovery phase of real estate, all the way to the peak here about 2021. We've had a pretty monster pullback, about $3,000 all the way down to upper 800s. And I think we'll probably base out here and move sideways and then work our way on up and do something similar to this type of setup over here. XAU to gold ratio, we are continuing to move upward, up 1.8% or so. I would be watching this, guys. Gold and silver mining companies, huge opportunity here with where the undervaluation is. We're breaking the downtrend line at basically we've broken it, and now we're just waiting for some follow through here. So it looks pretty dang good. CRB index down a little bit. I know oil had a rough day today, so it is pulling back some, but I do expect this to continue higher even into the summer. There is a possibility here that, and I'm not claiming that this is what is going to happen, but we could come up, do one of these guys, come up and then get a larger correction and then rip. That is a possibility where we come up during the summer, interest rates are just too heavy for the markets to stomach, and we get a pullback maybe towards the end of 24, early 25. It's possible. CRB to S&P 500 still looking really well poised for a move higher in this ratio. I just don't see the selling pressure. I see lots of increased candlesticks going to the upside. It still looks really good to go higher. Favorable for commodities. GDX up 1.5%, and we're right underneath resistance. We'll get through it, guys. This looks like a really good setup here. I bet you the next few days or weeks, we're going to see a rip here. And everyone's going to get excited again. Sentiment's going to change. You'll be like, oh, I need to buy a bunch of gold and silver mining companies. Well, that technically is true because you're about to break out here. And that's what I suspect with the breakout in gold already and silver. GDXJ has already broken out. Nice big candlesticks. And we are getting a little bit of a consolidation pullback. And I do suspect that this is going to continue higher. And the pullback will be muted, not too much. Still, Jay, also up again today, 0.73%, but we've broken. We've broken out. Small little selling pressure here, a little bit of a consolidation, pullback, whatever it's going to do, and then we'll work our way on higher. That's what my expectations are. Crude oil getting a little bit more selling pressure. People think, oh, crude oil is going to go down to like $50. I don't think so, guys. Not yet, at least. Um, we have strong demand, but we did get some bearish news for last um, oil withdrawals or deficits. We didn't get a deficit. We had a little bit of inventory add last week. We are still not at max peak driving season or anything like that. So oil's probably going to relax a little bit for the next week or two, depending on what the data is next week. But we could trade sideways or slightly lower, maybe do a retest of a bunch of support underneath us at about 80. Well, we've got lots of support at about 82. This is probably a retest. So if I were to draw a line through here, there's a lot of support here at about $82. That's just probably doing a retest right now of that breakout. TTF gas down a little bit. I know we were cruising yesterday. This does look like it wants to pull back. Bearish engulfing. Could get a little pullback here in the short term. Natural gas still chilling down here at $1.70. Production is pulling back. Going to take some time to work off some of this inventory. It's going to take time. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me. Keep in mind, guys, 3% down day in oil, but yet the XOP ETF was only down 0.77. I think that we'll probably try to find a bottom around here in this general area where we're entering. People are going to accumulate it, and then we're going to say bye, 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 bye. What is that? What is that? Bye, bye, bye. NSYNC, I think. I think it was NSYNC. But we're at resistance support. This still looks good to go higher. We're just getting a little bit of a consolidation pullback here. Nothing to worry about, in my opinion. OIH also pulling on back, and this could extend further. Oil weakness, and again, we were down 1.2%, although oil was down more, but it does look like to me we could end up in the low 300s. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, down a little bit. We're at support. We'll see if this support holds. Maybe this is kind of an A, B, C correction. So if I were to redraw this and show you what I'm seeing potentially, what this could be is more on the lines of something that looks like this. And we've got a breakout to the downside here, and we could see further downside potential in uranium, unfortunately. We had a similar setup here too, where it went and shot higher. But to me, this, we entered from the top down, which means we could enter and come down here, which is still a possibility. URA, similarly set up, but it's hanging on at the moment. We also have URNM. Again, it's hanging on at the moment. Is this a bearish setup? We've got support underneath us. Lots of buying and selling action occurred right below us, but we could see a little bit of maybe a loop or something like that could occur. I don't like placing bets on could occur. I know people say, well, you need to be more confident. Guys, we don't have confidence doing technical analysis. You have percentages and probabilities. That is why I will not lose my position. Even if we come down here, I don't care. The fundamentals still look fantastic. They are still good from a longer term perspective, and we're just trying to fight through some resistance where we're at right now. URNJ also coming into some resistance. We were up today, but we're right above support. TAN up a little bit. I know we had a little bit weaker yields, but this still looks pretty dire to me, guys. This does not look like a strong technical setup. Basically, we've broken to the downside here, and that I think is more evidence that yields could go higher in the longer term. And I think the market's pricing that all in. We have copper that just continues to crush. It's up today about another %, and the momentum is still to the upside after this breakout here. It looks really good to continue higher. COPX also moving on up a little bit more slowly, a little bit of a consolidation zone. It is an equity, and some of the equities underwent some selling pressure since last Friday. Lithium up a little bit, likes a little bit weaker yields, but this, guys, doesn't look strong. Give it some time. Same with REMX. It's up today, but this is not breeding strength. You don't sell off like this at a tip and have longer, bigger selling pressure here. This still looks like we could go lower in the short term. My guess is yields are going to be the driver of it. S&P 500 looking a little bit weak. We're getting that pullback like we thought we would from this rising wedge. And the momentum is slowed into a bearish engulfing. Lower, lower, lower. Momentum's to the downside. NASDAQ also looking like complete butthole. God. Um, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing, bearish candlestick here, bearish engulfing here. Guys, this doesn't look that good. This could drag down commodities with it. That's why we look at some of this. This does look like it wants to go lower. Momentum is being lost here. So it does not look good. And again, we're coming from very high valuations where this could be Mr. Batman showing up here. Hey, Batman. Yeah, it doesn't look too hot here. A carry, a little bit lower yields. It's holding on. It's holding on. And then emerging markets is holding on, moving sideways. Momentum's to the downside makes me think, again, yields are probably going to go higher. And even the emerging markets people believe that. XHB is also selling off with the overall market and yields going up. Home builders the affordability for new homes is going down, and we are getting a pullback here. Momentum's to the downside. Moo, that's also impacted by stronger yields in a negative way, and we've seen that pull back. It went sideways today, but that's still momentum's to the downside. Iron ore is looking better. This does look like it's trying to bottom. A lot of the times you'll get kind of like a shoulder, head, shoulder deal going on here. That is a potential possibility, and I think that's probably what will eventually work its way out. It's probably something on the lines of that. Nickel down a little bit today. Well, a lot today, I guess, 2.75%. But I still think this is going to work its way on up. It looks pretty good. We've broken through that. We've created a higher high. And here's your low, and this is a higher low. Your downtrend line comes through here. So this is technically a new uptrend. So I think that nickel's going to look pretty good here. Aluminum still working its way on up. There we are. And I think we could go higher. This is a breakout here, guys. I mean, you could draw whatever. That's an awesome line. You like that, huh? You can draw whatever line you want. It went sideways, momentum down, sideways, and we are starting to move higher. Baltic Dry Index up 2.8%. This is putting in that bottom, and it looks like we are ready for takeoff, hopefully, move on up. And our dry bulk shipping and stuff like those sectors are probably going to look pretty good. I do think Newcastle coal futures here look fantastic, guys. If you're part of the website, I talked about some of the coal stocks that look pretty good. Yes, I would take positions in coal stocks now. And in that midweek update that I just released, yep, I went over the ones that I do like, and they're in bold above that video. BTC, Bitcoin, down to 2.5%. It's trading like the NASDAQ, and this looks like a smelly armpit or something. So we've got the 1, 2, 3 consolidation and the fail out. Notice that we don't have big green candlesticks. They're turning into red candlesticks and not much of a bounce, which makes me think that we could see further downside and probably higher yields are driving this. Ethereum also getting some selling pressure. This one doesn't look as bad. We got some wicks in the bottom there. It is getting bought up to some extent. So we'll see how far this pullback is. Maybe it comes on back a little bit further. But again, guys, I'm not in the game of trying to make predictions. I'm just telling you what momentum and the setups and how we're breaking in either direction. The game of making money isn't about making predictions. It's about capturing resistance, support levels, and breakouts. And if you're a trader, you buy on the breakout and sell when you get some support. And that's all you net is this little difference there. That's what they try to take. They try to scalp off the market. That's not what I do. I try basically investing in something like here or here and then selling it up here and netting that difference. That's where you make a lot of money. Or even looking at the big picture view, I'm not going to do it on Ethereum, but from like 2009 till 2020 would be a nice ride. SMCI, this is a company that a lot of people are watching. It did break to the upside. We'll monitor to see if this thing continues higher. It does look like it could continue higher. And NVIDIA is another leader. Oh man, that looks like total garbage. Bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing, and another one today, bearish engulfing. These stack up. This is generally what distribution looks like, and that more than likely will fall, in my opinion, with time. I know some people will say I've been calling for a potential top in technology, and you know what? It has been going up on me. I've had that view probably since about here. I would have missed this bottom here. This is a shoulder, head, shoulder, bottom, and then there's your move up. This is wave. This is wave 3 here. Wave 4 pullback. Wave 5 is the peak here, and we are going to go lower in a probably a big pullback there. So that's what I see. If you guys want to notice, um, yeah. So that's what I've got. Let me try something here real quick, guys. I'm just curious to see if this here is wave 1, wave 2. We could be doing wave 3, maybe real quick. Nah, we won't go through it here. It takes too much time. But that's what I've got for today, guys. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. And that's what we're seeing in the markets today. Looks like coal's looking pretty good. Iron ore is looking pretty good. Dry bulk shipping, remember, that's correlated to iron ore and coal, so that looks good to go higher. And the overall markets don't look as good. The NASDAQ does not look as good. Nvidia doesn't look as good. Bitcoin and Ethereum are struggling here in the short term, and we could see further pullbacks in the NASDAQ and S&P, and that could pull us down in commodities as well. But that's what I've got for today, guys. We've got a 5 p.m. question and answer session coming up on Sunday if you're interested, and that's all I've got. So we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.